Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review and demoing a relatively new foundation by L'Oreal, which is called the L'Oreal Infallible, not Infallible, 24-hour fresh wear foundation. Now the reason why I say that is, look, I've got to show it to you guys again. Yeah, remember I did the same with the concealer, which was called the Infallible concealer, which I just happen to have here, the more than one. This one in the UK for some reason is also called Infallible. Look, I'll show it to you up close so that you can see what it looks like, just so that at the same time I can show you what this bottle looks like. It's a glass bottle and it's got a nice pump on the top as well, which makes letting the product out of here very easy, and you can keep an eye on how much of the product you've got left, as well as the glass bottle is completely clear. And at the same time you can see very clearly it says Infallible on here, but as I mentioned in the concealer video, for some reason L'Oreal continued to call it in their adverts on TV, all their merchandising, they refer to it as Infallible, whereas on every single item it says Infallible. So I'm a little bit confused about that. However, for the purposes of the video and my US followers, where I know over there it is called Infallible, I'm just mentioning that to you guys. You can ignore me and just skip this bit or whatever. Anyway, so the full retail price of this in the UK is $10.99. You can buy it from a variety of different outlets like Superdrug, Boots, Feel Unique, which is where I got one of mine from. I'm actually going to be showing you two shades today. This one is 290 Golden Amber and this one is 260 Golden Sun. Golden Sun is what matches my skin tone. If I was in the US, apparently the shade Sun Beige would have been perfect for me, but we don't have it in the UK. We've got 24 shades here in the UK, but there is a lot more in the US as always. I don't know why L'Oreal are not consistent throughout the world in having their entire shade range available for everybody. I think it's really unfair actually. There is no exact perfect match for me. Now, for those of you that saw my foundation drawer, foundation collection review, you will remember that I showed you guys this one here, 290 Golden Amber, and I said I didn't actually know what shade matched me. This one was a bit too dark and too peach, and one of you very kindly told me that you are the same shade as me and therefore I should try 260 Golden Sun. Thank you very much for whoever you are out there. This one does match me, but it is a teeny tiny bit too dark. I'm not too fussed about that. It's 25 degrees in London, the sun is out, and I'm steadily getting darker by the day, so this will at some point match my skin a lot better. Let me just read to you what their claims are before I start off with my review and demo. Even on their own website they spell it as Infallible, but yet all your bottles and everything say Infallible. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that. Okay, so meet the new L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation for a full coverage, no compromise base for the ultimate resistance. With a new standard in long wear coverage, it's transfer proof, life proof, party proof and waterproof, so you get more from your makeup. With this fresh wear foundation, long wear no longer means thick or heavy coverage. The innovative oxygen technology gives a lightweight feel, whilst the ultra stretchable formula ensures full coverage application. A little bit goes a really long way. So those are what their claims are. Long wear loss up to 24 hours. I have no idea. I like my sleep, so I am never going to use it for 24 hours unless maybe I am traveling to some far-flung off country. I've worn this from up to 16 to 18 hours and I have to say that it does hold up really well. I did get some separation around my chin area and around my nose, and I have got, for reference, normal to combination skin, and I have been using mattifying primers because I generally prefer to, because at some point having normal to combination skin means that the oil will come through in my T-zone at some point and interfere with how my foundation sits on my face. Now it says that it's transfer proof. No, it's not. Are you not lying? What do you think you are, Estee Lauder double wear? Stop it. Life proof, party proof. Well, I'm an old lady these days. I don't really have time to party. No, actually, you know what? Not gonna lie. When I did wear this, I was out 3 nights in a row. I wasn't partying. Well, actually, I was at a launch party. That doesn't really count. I wasn't partying like sweating. Anyway, yeah, and it held up really well. Waterproof. Well, I have worn it when the rain has kind of flung at me and it didn't move it around or interfere with it, but I have not dunked my head in a bucket of water to test it, sorry. No thick and heavy coverage, correct. It has got a very lightweight feel to it, which means that it applies beautifully to the skin. There's no thickness to it. Now I do have to say that as much as they have claimed that this is a full coverage foundation, I don't think that it is personally. I know a lot of people will say, yeah, it is full coverage, but yeah, what if you got like one mark on your face to make that claim? Let's go with somebody who's got hyperpigmentation, who's got scarring from acne spots, who has freckles on their face, a beauty spot right there, and textured skin and scarring as a result of acne from when I was a teenager. I say it's not full coverage. I wouldn't even call it medium coverage. I would call it between medium and full coverage. The coverage is very, very good, but I do have to go in with a second layer, especially around my cheeks. However, it is buildable and you can get that full coverage. And also, while doing that, while layering it, because it is so lightweight, it does not get cakey, it does not get crepey. I like the fact that it does not oxidize as well on my skin. It stays true to the color, and overall it gives a really nice natural sort of finish. I wouldn't call it matte and I wouldn't call it dewy. It sits somewhere nicely in the middle, giving, how the name says, fresh wear. Your face looks fresh, it looks awake, it looks natural, the way that your natural skin looks. Nobody's skin is naturally matte and nobody's skin is naturally dewy. We've got this kind of in-between thing going on, and then it's just how your skin works throughout the day. Depending, if you've got oily skin, you do get shinier. If you've got dry skin, you generally stay normal looking. And I think that this will work well personally on all skin tones. If you do have oily skin, I would definitely suggest using a mattifying primer just to give it that extra longevity. Like I said, I did get some separation around these areas after about hour 14, I would say, and all you need is a little bit of powder just to touch it up. I don't get shiny, however I do get that separation. Now when it got to about hour 18, I was starting to shine on my forehead a little bit, my cheeks and my nose, but again that has more to do with the fact that I have got normal to combination skin and the natural oils had definitely started to come out in my face. So overall I would give this an 8 out of 10, and the reasons why is, number one, it is not transfer proof. Yes, it does come off if you rub your face or whatever. To me, transfer proof is Estee Lauder Double Wear. I blow my nose and there is no foundation on my tissue. This one does come off. And the reason why I didn't give it a 9 is because I just don't find the range of shades to be good enough in the UK. If you're in the US, by all means, give yourself a 9 out of 10. But I'm in London, and people here who are my skin tone will find it difficult finding the right kind of undertone and the right sort of shade. Okay, so before I do this demo for you guys, let me just show you what both of these look like on my skin tone, just to give you an idea of how it may look. And just for reference, in the concealer my shade is in Amber, which gives me a really nice brightening effect. I love this, by the way. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is the one called 290 Golden Amber. This is the one that I told you I bought first. Let me just put them next to each other just so that you can see in the bottle how different they are. So this one is Golden Sun and this one is Golden Amber. You can definitely see that Golden Sun has a lot more yellow in it. This one is a lot more peach, and it just does not go well with my skin tone at all. So even though they are in the same 200 family, that's just to show you the different kind of undertones that they are. I've got very, very warm, very yellow undertones. Whoa, that nearly slipped out and fell, because like I said, this has got a very runny texture. Very runny texture. So here you can see, this is the first shade, 290 Golden Amber. And you can see I could get away with it. I could. Maybe if I was a little bit darker, but at the moment it just does not work well for me, and it almost gives me a kind of a greyish tinge to my skin and makes me look like you can see the foundation on my face basically. And now I'll show you Golden Sun next to it. And remember, it's about the way that it blends into your neck. It doesn't matter if your face is a different colour, it has to blend into and match your neck. Now let me do that double chin thing so you guys can see. You can see this one's definitely got a lot more yellow to it. Let's not forget, this is a thick swatch. This is not blended out. So as much as this is a lot more obvious, this just does not work well with me. It'll make me look ill once it's applied all over my face. Alright, I wiped that off. I just realised I wiped off half my SPF, and don't ask what's going on with my hair because I just don't know myself. What else can I say about this foundation? It's 30ml, which is great, standard size for a foundation, and it is, you have to use it within 12 months, which won't be hard, I suppose. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a primer. I'm using the one that you've seen me use in quite a few videos. It is the Makeup Revolution Mattify Matte and Fix Primer. Like I said, it's really hot. I've got one tiny little window open in here. I need to keep my face matte, otherwise I will start to shine a lot more quickly. So I'm just going to apply this quite liberally because it is like about 25 degrees, and what you can see in terms of shininess is sweat. So that's why I needed to mattify myself. Now you can see that the shininess, quite a lot of it is gone, and I'm now nice and matte. So let's just let that settle for a couple of minutes. And what I'm going to use today, I thought I'd be a little bit different. I always use brushes when I do my foundation review, so I thought for a change, let me use a beauty sponge. This is the Real Techniques beauty sponge. I'm going to use this to apply the foundation. You can use a beauty sponge, you can use a dense brush, you can use a more tapered brush, a more fluffier brush. It's up to you. Like I said, this has got a very liquidy texture, so bear in mind that when you do use like a damp beauty blender like this, a lot of the product will sink into this and you will be shearing it out. If you want to use this at its maximum capacity of its full coverage claim, you need to use a brush, because a brush will not soak up as much product as something like this. But just for the purposes of this video, and because I was going to layer it twice anyway, I'm going to use this. And you do have to make sure to shake it, because like I said, it's very liquidy, and any separation in here you want to kind of mix together. Alright, so I've taken about 2 dollops, so let's go. Okay, so that is one layer, and I can see quite a lot of my skin. You know what, this is the first time I'd actually used a beauty sponge. I'd always used a brush, and like I said a few minutes ago, using a beauty blender which is damp will make it shear out. I can see all the redness in my cheeks still. I can see my beauty spot very clearly. I can see any marks on my chin. I've got a little bit of eczema here, and I can see that still very clearly. So how can you call this full coverage? Really, it's medium coverage, isn't it? Medium to buildable coverage. But it does blend in very nicely, very easily. I don't like using a beauty blender to do my foundation, because you can see the way I hold it. It's because I've got a disabled hand. That's life. But I do find holding things like this a little bit difficult, which is why I generally tend to prefer using brushes. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply a bit more, because I feel that I need that coverage, because I was here looking for full coverage, which I didn't get. So let's apply a little bit more to the sponge and just go into those areas and push it in. That's giving a bit more coverage, but the problem is, you see how much I've used? I've already used about 5 pumps in the first round. Now I've gone in with another 2 pumps just here. Then it'll be another 2 pumps here. You're going to go through this foundation really quickly, which is why it might be a better option to use a foundation brush unless you've got perfect skin. In that case, use a beauty sponge. Alright, there we go. That's a lot better. I wouldn't say that is still at full coverage capacity. Yeah, I know I look a little bit pale. Don't worry, we'll sort that all out in a minute. Because believe it or not, I might look a little bit pale. This foundation is actually a little bit dark for me. For some reason it doesn't look like that right now. Why? Was there something on my sponge? Was it not clean? Alright, so now that it's done, it doesn't feel dry, but it feels slightly tacky. But this definitely does need to be set. Again, because it is a very liquidy sort of foundation, and it doesn't dry immediately, which is great, which means it's very easy for you to layer. If you need to layer, I might actually layer a little bit more, you know, because I'm just not happy with this kind of coverage. Full coverage? You lie. You lied. Alright, that's going to have to do, because we are getting into the too much foundation territory. And once you apply the face powder, that's when it becomes more obvious how much foundation you've got on. So here's how it looks. Very lovely. It's got a very strongish perfumey sort of scent to it. Reminds me of something my mum uses to clean the bathroom with. You know that thing you put in the toilet so your loo smells nice? It smells kind of like that. Maybe it's just me thinking that. Alright, so it has now almost set. It's still a bit wet, but I am going to set it. I'm just going to use my Nabla Cosmetics Close Up Smooth Pressed Powder in the shade Medium, and I will come back and finish off the review just so that you guys can see what the complete face looks like once it has all finished. Okay, I'm back. The rest of my makeup is complete. On my lips I'm wearing something that I'm kind of now regretting, because I'm like, mostly because my dad just kind of stared at me like, and I know what that stare normally means. It's like, I don't like that lipstick, but he won't say it. It's Colourpop's Come Up Ultra Satin Lip, and everything else is now complete, but I'm very happy with how it all looks. It feels nice and soft. It looks lovely. It feels light. It doesn't feel heavy or anything like that. The colour matches beautifully with my skin tone as well, and overall I'm genuinely happy with this. So I highly recommend this if you are able to get your shade. If you are looking into getting a new drugstore foundation, I mean, $10.99 is still kind of pricey for a drugstore foundation, but when it comes to L'Oreal products, they're always on offer, 3 for 2, buy one get one free, that sort of thing. So hopefully you will be able to find one that is suitable for you. Other than that, I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.